All right, so today we're tackling a pretty mind-bending question, and it's all thanks to a groundbreaking new study. And that question is, can an algorithm really understand something as deeply human as spirituality? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, right? But stick with me, because the answer, well, it just might surprise you. Let's dig in. You know, for as long as we've been trying to understand the human mind, we've known this one simple truth. Our words, they're like a window into our thoughts, our feelings, our whole personality. But the big challenge for researchers has always been, how do you systematically unlock all those secrets hidden in our language? And that right there, that brings us to the core question of this whole thing. I mean, we know humans can pick up on nuance and subtext and all that complex emotional stuff just from reading a few sentences. But could a machine, an AI, ever do the same? That is the exact challenge these researchers decided to take on. Okay, so to really get why this is such a big deal, we got to take a quick look at what scientists call the gold standard problem. And it's all about how they've traditionally had to handle this kind of research. So the key process here is something called text analysis. And what that really means is, it's the science of taking all this, messy human stuff, like essays or written goals, and turning it into clean, hard data. We're talking about numbers that you can actually analyze to find patterns about our personalities and how we think. And this is where that gold standard problem comes in. See, for the longest time, researchers were stuck with this really frustrating trade-off. On one hand, you have your highly trained human raters. These folks are the gold standard, right? Their analysis is super accurate, super nuanced. The problem? It is incredibly slow and costs a ton of money. Then, on the other hand, you had these older automated methods. Sure, they were fast and cheap, but they were also kind of dumb. They were basically just counting keywords, and the quality, not even close. But what if that trade-off is finally about to be broken? Well, enter a new contender, a seriously powerful new generation of AI. And yeah, you've probably heard of them. They're called Generative Pre-trained Transformers, or GPTs for short. These are the models that have been trained on just insane amounts of text, and they understand language in a way that is, well, it's almost human. And just to give you a sense of how different these new models are, check this out. With zero special training for the task, GPT-4 scored in the 99th percentile on the verbal reasoning section of the GRE. You know, the GRE, that's the test designed for people applying to top grad schools. That's not just good, that's an absolutely incredible, near-human grasp of language. So this really sets the stage for the ultimate scientific showdown, doesn't it? Could this new kind of AI finally be the thing that delivers the best of both worlds? Could we get the lightning speed of a machine combined with the nuance and accuracy of a human expert? Now, to find out, these researchers didn't pick some easy, low-hanging fruit. No way. They decided to put this AI to the ultimate test by asking it to analyze one of the most complex, subtle, and uniquely human concepts they could possibly think of. And that concept was spirituality. Now, it's really important to note that for this study, they defined it very specifically. They're talking about the ability and the inclination to see life from a broader perspective, this feeling that all living things are interconnected and unified. So this isn't just about spotting religious keywords. No, this is about grasping a deep, abstract worldview. I mean, talk about a massive challenge for an algorithm. And so the challenge was set. The experiment was designed as a direct, head-to-head competition. In two separate studies, they pitted GPT's performance directly against that of these highly trained human research assistants. It was a true test, human versus machine. All right, the tests were run, the data was collected, and now it's time to see what actually happened. So, how did the AI stack up against our human gold standard? Let's find out. Okay, so test number 1 was a classification task. It was pretty straightforward. Both the human raters and the AI had to read through almost 6,600 personal goals written by students. And for each one, they had to make a simple call. Is this goal spiritual or is it not? And wow, the results are pretty staggering. So the human experts, they agreed with each other an incredible 96% of the time, super consistent. And GPT-4, it agreed with the final human consensus 95% of the time. I mean, the performance was virtually identical. You could call it a statistical tie. Okay, that's pretty impressive, right? The AI can totally handle a simple yes or no question. But what about something more subtle, something more complex? Well, the researchers decided to raise the stakes with a second, much more difficult test. So for this one, both the humans and the AI had to read short essays and assign a score for spirituality, not just a yes or no, but the real test was this. how well did those scores actually predict other real-world measures of spirituality? And as you can see, it's just wild. The human raters scores correlated with self-report surveys at 0.41, GPT-4 0.42. And for predicting actual spiritual behaviors, the humans came in at 0.26 and GPT-4 hit 0.24. It's the same story. The AI performed just as well as the human experts. Again. Okay, look, these results are obviously super impressive. But honestly, the AI's performance isn't even the most shocking part of this story. The real bombshell, the thing that changes everything, is what this means for the future of research itself. Okay, prepare to have your mind blown. Let's talk about the resources it took to get those identical results. The team of human coders, they spent 11 weeks analyzing all that text. GPT-4, it did the exact same job in 20 minutes. Now let's talk cost. The human labor costs thousands of dollars in standard research salaries. The cost to run the AI, about $20. This isn't just an improvement, people. This is a complete and total change of scale. So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean? Well, for the first time ever, it looks like we have a tool that can actually match the gold standard of human analysis, but do it at a tiny, tiny fraction of the time and cost. Think about what that unlocks. We're talking about the ability to analyze massive datasets, social media, historical archives, you name it, on a scale that was basically science fiction until now. This could fundamentally revolutionize how we study the human mind. And all of this leaves us with one final, really powerful question to think about. We just saw an AI get a handle on spirituality, one of our most personal, most abstract traits. So if a machine can help us understand that, what other profound mysteries of the human mind are next? Consciousness? Creativity? Who knows? The possibilities, well, they're really just beginning to unfold.